I should have started using the Bungee sooner. Hi, I'm Jonathan Pritchett with Theology, Geek, and today I'm going to talk about the TO2 ISO trainer, using it with the Bungee that comes with it. Now, when I first got the T2 ISO trainer, and I have an unboxing video, and I have a prior video discussing its isokinetic and suspension training functions, when I first got it, that's all I used it for, was for suspension training and isokinetics. I really liked suspension training, but then I liked what I saw with the T2 ISO trainer and how you could do isokinetic exercises with it in conjunction with suspension training, and I thought, yeah, I'll try that. And sure enough, I really enjoy using it. It works just as well as any suspension trainer that I have, and I really like suspension training, but this gives me an added bonus, and it came with a Bungee, and I didn't really do a whole lot with it other than checking out the app, which is a great app, by the way. You can pay for workouts and stuff, but just the free version, which is all that I have, has a ton of exercise demonstrations. And so I got it out and I decided to play around a little bit with the Bungee. And I was like, yeah, man, it's kind of neat. But, you know, a lot of exercises I probably wasn't going to ever use anyway. So just kind of left it at that. But then I started to use it more and more, and the more I use it, the more I've come to see the genius of it. Because when you first get the T2 ISO trainer, it comes with, you know, the handle strap. Some of the exercises require the handle that has the strap connected to it that you connect to the other handle. That becomes an anchoring solution for certain things. It comes with the door anchor, comes with the anywhere anchor, and the housing unit, and this Bungee. And so you have a lot of little parts, and you're like, well, this is kind of interesting. And then you fumble about with it and figure out what's going on, watch a couple tutorial videos, and then you're off and running. And then you realize, oh, this thing's actually pretty genius. And I felt that way after probably the first week of messing with it. And I thought that the Bungee was neat, but not really something I saw having a place much in my training, given some of the demonstrations. But then I started to play around with it more and more, and it's absolutely a part of my training now. And of course, I use the T2 ISO trainer twice a week. I've split my training up into resistance bands 2 days a week, the T2 ISO trainer 2 days a week, and then 2 days a week I use everything else, body weight, calisthenic stuff, you know, dip bars, pull-up bar, my sandbags, my hydro balls, my Surge 60, you know, just a kind of a grab bag of all the other stuff I mess with on the other 2 days. But the Bungee has definitely become part of what I use the T2 ISO trainer for. And surprisingly enough, getting in and out of it, the way it connects to the anchor or the anywhere anchor, you can just unclick a carabiner, and then you're not using the Bungee anymore, and just re-click it to the anchor. So it's actually pretty convenient to use and to get in and out of exercises with. You just leave it hanging there on the door anchor, and you can either attach the housing unit to the door anchor or the anywhere anchor itself, or you can attach it to the Bungee that's attached to the anchor. It's just switching out the carabiners. It's really quick, so that hasn't been a problem. And plus, I rest between exercises, so I mean, what else are you going to do besides sit there, right? So that really isn't a problem, getting in and out of the Bungee, back to suspension training, and then back to the Bungee. So that's helpful in that it doesn't really become cumbersome, even though, like I said, when you look at this thing, and it's got a lot of little parts, but when you put it all together and you start working with it on a regular basis, you see not only how genius it is, but how easy you can get in and out of different exercises. And I like to do supersets with it, so when you get used to what you're doing with the T2 ISO trainer, it's really great for supersets as well. So I started using the Bungee, and in a way, it's like resistance training, but in the same way that the T2 ISO trainer is like suspension training, but with the isokinetics. With the Bungee cord, it's like resistance band training and also isokinetics. So I've really started using it for that. For example, if I'm doing back exercises or chest exercises, so I will do a Bungee chest press and then go right into the isokinetic in the same way that I would do a suspension trainer chest press and then go straight into the isokinetic. And same with the row, do a bungee row and then just immediately after that go into the isokinetic. And it really, having that flexibility and having both of those training methods right there instantaneously, when you start to fatigue or hit failure, you can still just start going a little bit more. And because of the isokinetic housing unit, the way that it's just body fight, you can go at a resistance of your choice and get a really good burnout, and that equates to a really good pump and really good muscle fatigue. It's just all around fantastic. One of my favorite things about the T2 ISO Trainer has always been shoulders. So just doing the isokinetic front raises and lateral raises, man, it really is a shoulder burner. And the rear delt fly or face pull, those are real burners as well. I love doing the face pulls. And now with my shoulders, I'm doing the bungee face pull and then going from that straight into the isokinetic face pull. And likewise, I'm doing just an overhead shoulder press and then going straight from that to the isometric or the isokinetic shoulder press. So it's just, I just love using it. Same thing with arms, man. Tricep burner and bicep burners. I mean, this thing is amazing for that. So I started using the bungee cord with my biceps and triceps, and going straight out of that into the isokinetics, and that has been fantastic as well. Nothing negative so far. Now, it's not identical to resistance band training, but you can get pretty good resistance out of that bungee. I would actually like to see more bungee options, one that's not quite as long as this bungee, because if you're using a door anchor, you know, you start to get a lot of distance between you and the anchor point. So maybe a shorter bungee and maybe different levels of resistance. Now, with legs, people debate whether or not suspension training in general is, you know, like bodyweight training, can it be effective for legs? And I'm in the camp that says yes, but, you know, you have to modify the way that you train if you're training legs on a suspension trainer, if you want to continue to find ways to progressively overload in that. But yes, you can, but you have to make certain adjustments. It's not like you just throw more weight on a bar and start doing a squat, right? It's a little bit different than that. But the bungee, I've found ways to train legs with it, in addition to just doing regular suspension training squats, where normally when I do that, I use a weight vest for that in my calf presses when I'm just doing suspension training. But with this bungee, I've been able to incorporate that by connecting the bungee actually to that anywhere anchor that I'm using as pretty much a belt, like a body anchor that I step into it and wrap it around my waist and connect using the carabiner that connects the housing unit to the anchor. I use that carabiner to connect the anywhere anchor to the bungee cord. So again, this not one of the ways that they tell you to set this thing up, but it's how I've set it up. So I've been able to do, you know, almost similar to a Spanish squat, been able to do front lunges. I've been able to do side lunges, of course, and reverse lunges. And I've incorporated those into my resistance training. And surprisingly enough, you can get good tension off of that bungee cord. And the T2 ISO Trainer, one of the things that I always talk about when I use it is just the suspension hamstring curls going straight into the isokinetic hamstring curls. Those are probably the best isolation exercise I've ever done for hamstrings. Just, I mean, way better than just normal leg curls or trying to do it with a band or, you know, leg curl machine or whatever. It's just fantastic. I mean, nothing hits my hamstrings like that does anyway. So that was already good. And squats with the weight vest, if you do your rep speed right, you can get a good workout. But incorporating the bungee and doing these similar to like a Spanish squat and doing the lunges and stuff has worked out really well. And so I've incorporated those into my lower body day with the T2 ISO trainer. So all in all, I'm really enjoying using the bungee. I wish I would have started using it sooner. And of course, one of the things I started using the bungee early on was for things like overhead side bends and like just standing crunches. You'd be amazed, because I like to do those with resistance bands, just anchor high, and you don't need a whole lot of range of motion. Just make sure you round your back and just standing straight up and crunching, and not even getting on your knees and doing kneeling crunches or anything like that. Just standing straight up, face the anchor, and pulling down on it while you contract your ab muscles is just great. So I've figured out how, by using every tool that they give you in the bag with this T2 ISO trainer, I'm getting great workouts. Now incorporating the bungee, which means I'm using every feature that it has for upper body and lower body, targeting the core. And I'm now that I've reawakened myself to using the bungee on a regular basis, I pretty much stick to the same exercises no matter what kind of equipment I'm doing. Of course, there's always a variation depending on the type of equipment, but the same basic functional movement patterns. Did a whole video on that. And so I like to do the same exercises, but sometimes on the ancillary stuff, I will switch it up after I do my main exercises and my main compounds. I'll switch it up to just try out different stuff. And so I'm trying more and more stuff now that I've and giving the app, like I mentioned before, a fair shot at ingratiating itself to me with these endless exercises that make use of the T2 ISO trainer. So I'm trying out different stuff and working new things in, and finding all the time that I really love this thing. It really is the desert island piece. Of course, there is one exercise that it just will not do, other than if you just loop the bungee, connect it to itself, and just pull on that bungee as if you're doing a deadlift. There's no deadlift solution for this, but you don't have to do deadlifts anyway. It's just if you like to do deadlifts, which I still use a band, a bar, and a plate, or I use my sandbag or my Surge 60 or whatever. But I get plenty of deadlifts with other stuff. But I mean, as far as an all-in-one thing, the only thing that it really doesn't do is a deadlift. But all told, I really love using the bungee cord that came with the T2 ISO trainer. Didn't use it at first, except for just to try stuff out, but now it's a regular feature in my T2 ISO trainer workouts. Really love it. Highly recommend it. Still probably a really great desert island kit, because it has so many different training methods. I've gotten really great workouts from it already, just from using the suspension training and isokinetic features. But now with the bungee attachment, my workouts with it are absolutely fantastic. Whole other level. Can't recommend this thing enough. I think it's genius. And if you liked this video, click the like button. If you didn't like it, click the dislike button. Don't care either way. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I appreciate it. And check out all of our other videos here at Theology Geek Fitness. And if you want to become a patron and support the show, you can do that by going to patreon.com/theologygeekfitness. And there you will find pre-recorded videos with absolutely no audio whatsoever, so that you can just follow along, not have to listen to me make any noises, and listen to whatever podcast or video or music that you want to listen to in the background while you follow along with the workouts. So that's at patreon.com/theologygeekfitness. And I'd appreciate that. And I do appreciate you watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. God bless.